Memory is really kind of important. It's more than a record. It's more than the sum total of our experiences, the chronicle of our lives, more than a tally of good and bad lessons learned, although it is those things as well. But fundamentally, our memory is the key to who we are. Entities which lose their memory, people, groups, churches, nations, lose not just the mere knowledge of their past, of who they were or have been, but they also lose the knowledge of themselves, the knowledge of their purpose, of who they are, who they're meant to be. They lose the present and the future. Remember when you were a kid, it seemed like everybody on TV suffered from amnesia at some point? I thought amnesia would play a big role in life. No, it doesn't. It's like Gilligan's Island and the quicksand. I've never run into quicksand ever before. And I've never had amnesia. Although some days I'd like to have amnesia, but we are memory holing things. What is the memory hole? The memory hole was I think it was the Ministry of Love, where you were taught to hate, and the Ministry of Truth, where you were taught what lies were, and you were forced to do it in 1984. Memory hole was a door in every room where people were being taught the truth. And you'd open up the little door, and you'd take whatever the truth was, all of the photos, the documents, and you'd throw them in the memory hole. And at the bottom of the memory hole was a fiery furnace. And so it would burn up all the record, and it was in the memory hole. You don't retrieve that in the memory hole. It's gone. When you lose the knowledge of yourself, the knowledge of your purpose, what you were meant to be, you are truly lost. Think of any movie or series that starts with a hero waking up to find their memory gone. Their fundamental character traits may remain, but they're unmoored. Not only unable to recognize family from strangers, but without knowledge of who they are and what that means and how they should act next. All of a sudden, somebody throws a blow and they're like, and they're able to just take on anybody. Whoa, what kind of man am I? Am I a killer? They don't know. It leaves people open to manipulation, to being reprogrammed with lies by whatever bad actor wants to use them for their own purposes. Have you seen Argylle yet? It's exactly what I'm talking about. This is also true for societies. If we forget our stories, if we stop telling them or allow others to edit them to suit their purposes, we lose them. Forget both who we are and who we can and should be, and we leave ourselves open to anyone with an alternate story to tell. This is what's happened to religion, Christianity. We stopped reading the Bible, and so now we're listening to scientists and atheists and people who are saying, live for the day, man. What's wrong? What's wrong with that? I mean, okay, so... O.J. Simpson killed the ice cream guy. What's the problem? He was just living his life on his terms. There is a problem. We forget who we are, who we serve, and we leave ourselves open. Now, this is the open intent of the 1619 Project and Howard Zinn. It's the logic behind the many reimagining policies, behind the words of Michelle Obama.
Barack knows that we are going to have to make sacrifices. We are going to have to change our conversation. We're going to have to change our traditions, our history. We're going to have to move into a different place. as a nation to provide the kind of future that we all want.
This is the trait of every postmodern, post-Western, post-Zionist, post-monotheistic, radical atheist thinker, Marxist, or leader. Just forget the stories of our founding and our purpose. Remember who you are. Simba, remember who you are. Well, it seems kind of important that Simba remembers his roots. Why is it not so important for us? These stories that tell us why we're here and what we're here to do. We have new stories for you. Stories that will tell us we're all born in sin, that we're all irredeemably evil, that we should be torn down forever because then we can go ahead and do so. It's always the same. First, the old memories are torn apart, the old stories. They have to be denied, delegitimized, erased. And then the new, more suitable, enlightened ones can replace them. Some, including maybe many on the left, truly believe the old stories are garbage. But they haven't done their homework. They truly believe the news stories are true, but they often openly believe that they believe this all while denying the foundation of the old stories. Still, they can enjoy the fruits of what's built on that foundation, the material and moral benefits that they take for granted and are currently destroying, because it's all they've ever known. But cut flowers are not life. What happens? You cut a flower and they fade, wilt, and die. They're a silent memory of what was and what could have been. To misquote Patrick Rothfuss, all around them hangs the cut flower silence of a beauty of a culture waiting to die. They don't produce any seeds. There's no next generation of flowers. When they fade, only rot will remain. What was will be no more. We are cutting the flowers of our future. The ultimate responsibility, and possibly the solution, is found with us. This only happens if we allow someone to cut us from the root. We must tell our stories. We must tell the truth. We must tell the stories of our own lives, of our families. Do you know why our families are so broken? Because we don't know where we came from. And I don't mean as a people, I mean as individuals. We don't know the stories of how we got here. We're all immigrants. That's what everybody says. We're all immigrants. But how many of us know who brought the family here? Why they brought the family here? What it cost them? We should do this on every available occasion. Family meals, trips, dates, nights out with friends. Honestly, because of everybody having a phone, we're losing them at a faster rate now. I remember sitting at the table, having to sit at the table while everybody was talking and all the holidays and everything else. And you would look at your sister or your brother and be like, if I have to hear this one more time. You'd hear the same stories over and over again. Yes, and that's why you know them. Are they happening in your family? Quintessentially, that's what holidays and rituals are for. Christmas displays and Hanukkahs, menorahs. If it's done right, they tell a story. If in the telling, the story grows in some ways, acquiring new depth, new focus, more profound meaning, all the better. If it accumulates anecdotes, commentary, interpretations, it becomes richer, turns more and more from an account of something that happened into a story, something rich with meaning and lessons, as well as deeds and facts. Our holidays, 4th of July, what is it? We don't even call it Independence Day. We call it 4th of July. It's about what? Barbecues? Maybe fireworks? Getting sunburned? Those are important. But how many of us are telling the story? I know it's awkward and weird at first. This is the week of Passover. This is what Passover is all about. The Seder night is exactly what we need to be doing. The entire purpose of that is to tell the story, to discuss it, so it and its lessons can be carried on alive for another generation. And it's been working for the Jews for about 3,000 years. So, as Christmas and Easter has kind of done with Christians, but that's going away. 4th of July is going away. Everything in our society is pushing our kids away from the stories, which means away from the truth of who they are, where they came from, why we're here as a people. Well, I'm here because I'm going to be famous on TikTok. Oh, that's why you were born? Okay. Perhaps more effort on the storytelling rather than the grilling could help us with some of the holidays like Independence Day. And with other stories we dare not forget. Memory requires a conscious effort, a choice, a ritual. It requires that a story be told over and over and over again. Do you notice that there is a story being told now to Americans, about Americans, to the world? And it's being told over and over and over again. And look how quickly, because we have a void in our own homes, look how quickly everything's being lost. The first thing we have to do is know the truth and then stand up for the truth. Stand up to say, no, you have no right to memory hole an event.